Hello everyone, today I'm going to be ranking all of the 4 scare mazes at Thorpe Park Fright Nights 2025. Of course I'm going to be ranking them in their 2024 state because at the time this video has come out it is not Fright Nights 2025 yet, and I just sort of wanted to make this video as to add hype to Fright Nights, and I'll probably do it again once Fright Nights is finished. But as it stands, these are my current rankings, and first of all we have number 4.
Welcome to Trailers.
Yes, Trailers is number 4, but however, do not take that as Trailers being a bad maze. I still think this maze is a 9 out of 10. I just hold all of the Thorpe mazes to a really high standard, and in a lot of other places this probably would be my favourite scare maze. I just quickly want to start with the negatives to get them out the way. This is the least intense maze out of the 4, and unfortunately that does make quite a big difference, especially compared to the other mazes on this list. However, the fact that it isn't that intense I think kind of makes it good as a starter sort of maze. If you have such a big phobia of this sort of thing, definitely start at Trailers. But yeah, that's my only real complaint, and this maze is in last place, so you just know how good this maze is and how good the rest of the mazes are going to be. Now let's move on to the more positive things. First of all, I love the aesthetic of this ride. The whole 80s cinema theme is just so cool and so well done. I also love the fact that this maze technically could live forever because they just keep bringing back rooms of old attractions, and it can sort of be seen as like a museum in the way that it has all these old mazes that people probably would have never got to do and now sort of get a chance to experience a taste of them through this maze. Which is why when I see people speculating about what the Fright Nights lineup will be every year and they say that Trailers will be removed, I just don't believe them, because honestly this maze is probably going to outlive every other maze on this list, and for good reason. Imagine in 10 years we get a survival games room or a Stitches room. It would just be so good. I also need to mention how much I love the soundtrack of this maze. You can hear it in the background and it sounds so good. Some of my favourite parts of this maze are the breakout at Bozo room, also known as the Big Top room, and the finale that has that crazy pyrotechnic. So yeah, overall I think Trailers is an awesome maze. However, I don't think it's as good as the rest of the mazes on this list. For example, kind of ironic how we went from the least intense maze to the most intense maze in one placement. But yeah, if you're looking for something that's genuinely going to terrify you, this is the maze for you. Once again, I'll start off with the negatives, and I'm pretty sure you know what I'm going to say. There is no real theming in this maze. It's very like sort of blank walls, and it's just not that much to look at. However, if you ask me, this sheer amount of intensity that the actors give in this maze sort of makes up for its lack of theming. Keep in mind that in this maze, you will be touched, you will be separated from your group, you will be shouted at, you will be given death threats. It's nuts. There are times in this maze where I've heard that people have been in there for up to 20 minutes because they just keep getting stuck by the actors, because the actors just want to keep them in there and keep tormenting them. So keep that in mind if you are scared of this. But then again, I've had run-throughs where I've come out in 5 minutes, so there's that to think about. Another thing to keep in mind is, once you come out this maze, you are not going to forget what happened in there for ages. It is such a great memory to have, especially if you're with your friends and you happen to meet up in the maze after being separated. It's just so funny to reunite and see your friends again and then try and navigate, and then eventually just get separated again and again. It's so funny. Some of my favourite parts of this maze are the pre-show where you all get separated, and the chainsaw finale where you get chased out by chainsaws, as it says in the name. And now we are about to move on to our top 2. I would consider both of these mazes 10 out of 10s. And at number 2 it is the new maze for last year, Deadbeat. Genuinely, what is there not to like about Deadbeat? It has everything. Some insanely creative scares, amazing theming, an awesome sort of backstory and storyline. Oh yeah, the storyline. I'll quickly explain that to you. You're in a nightclub, it's on New Year's Eve, on the so-called last night on Earth, and you're getting some demons and they are sucking your soul out of your body. So yeah, that's very unique. And every single room in this maze, you can tell, has had so much work and effort put into it. There is nothing that isn't detailed in the maze. And speaking of mazes, this definitely feels like one, especially when it's built to make you think you're just going around in a big circle. But yeah, I don't really have too much to say about Deadbeat, other than that it's amazing. In fact, it's so amazing, the first time I did it, I thought it was my favourite. I now, however, have changed my mind. And now, my favourite is... I mean, what more do you want out of a maze? Stitches is scary, well themed, intense, and just a masterpiece. A lot of people say that this is the best maze that Thorpe Park have done in their entire history of Fright Nights. And it's clear to see why they say that, because after just one run through of this, you're going to be so blown away. I remember the first time I did it back in its opening year in 2023. I could barely stand up, I was so scared after I got out. I know everyone says it, but the fact that this is built in a tent every single year is just so impressive as well. But overall, yeah, what's not to love about Stitches? Thank you for watching this video. Those were my rankings of the 4 scare mazes at Thorpe Park Fright Nights. I cannot wait for Fright Nights 2025, and I'm sure it's going to be amazing. Anyway, I've been BH. Peace.